Right, so welcome back. I cut this piece out off camera so I could see the top of the rocker panel here. I'm going to go ahead and cut back out of here, and I'm going to make a little template to go along all the way where I've cut, so that way I can match the cut from here all the way to the back on the new rocker panel. That way it'll measure up perfectly and I can tack weld it into place appropriately. Lots of cutting, lots of grinding, lots of welding. As you just saw, I went ahead and made the front piece that's going to replace the door sill part that was over the top of the front of the rocker panel. But before I get the rocker panel all put in, I need to figure out how extensive this rust is right here. So I'll be taking a wire wheel, sort of going out around. I'll probably end up having to rebuild this piece all the way up to about here and then down for this, and then underneath as well as like this spot right here, just to get it all back to where it needs to be. So like I said, you gotta, sort of stinks, but you gotta repair all the rust around it before you can replace this rocker panel. Otherwise, what's the point, right? So that's what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to see sort of how bad this is. I see some stuff up here, but I've got a new back panel piece for this, so I'll be doing that later, not today for sure. I won't even likely get the rocker panel in today, but yeah, so keep watching. Wire wheel, so I can see the extent of where I need to patch, and then patch this, patch underneath, and then cut out exactly where I want the rocker panel, and keep moving forward. Hope you're liking so far. I'll tell you that I am learning a ton. So if rust were gold, I would have found a gold mine here. This whole entire piece, both the front and the back, are just completely rusted out. Haven't decided exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to do some research and see whether or not I can maybe buy just this piece down to here from someone, just have them cut it off a parts car, and see whether that can work that route. It's probably better to do that than try to repair it piece by piece, just with all the different bends and all the different curves and the double pieces and everything like that. So that's what I'm going to sort of look into, which means I'm likely going to switch my focus back into the floor pan. I don't want to have both things cut out at the same time. I want to try to keep a little bit of structure in the car so it doesn't bow or warp on me. I also have to go along the bottom of the car and add on the extra lip for the rocker panel, clean that all up, rust mold it, get it painted with some weld through primer so that way it doesn't rust on me some more. But yeah, until I figure out exactly what I'm going to do here, I'll probably be a little bit of a pause on the rocker panels. Okay, what I've decided to do is I found a replacement from FudoFab online for this piece, so I don't have to try to recreate this curve, and since it's sort of boogered down all the way to here as well as around on the outside, I'm going to replace this piece probably up to like here down throughout, but that means I need to wait on this piece, which means I'm going to start looking back at the rocker panel. However, to get to this floorboard, I think it'll be easier to replace the floorboard while the rocker panel's out, because that'll give me access to the back here. And so I'm going to cut out the small piece. I'm not going to cut out the whole piece like I did for the driver's. Do one more check just to make sure I'm not going crazy. If it's solid from pretty much about here over, I'll replace about half of the floor pan and go from there. Again, I'm going to have to do some rebuilding here, down and around, and then some rebuilding right around here for this whole sill piece as well. Coming together slowly but surely. Again, I'm going to cut this piece out as well. I'll cut this whole piece out, probably including the spot welds, so that way I can spot weld in the new one. I'm looking at getting a spot welder to fix the spot welds along the way. But yeah, that's on the agenda, continuing to work. I know you can't hear me very well, but not good. Look at this. So I need to rebuild that, cut out that, and then keep moving. Alright, so I've got this back piece somewhat welded in. I gotta clean it up just a little bit, but that is back in to support the new floorboard. I've got this piece cut out where I'm gonna put the new floorboard, as well as I'll have to rebuild this seat piece, but that can go in after the floorboard. I gotta first though go through and rebuild this whole section right here where the original sort of drop down isn't there anymore. So that way I can then weld on the pieces there. So I'm going to use this sort of as a template for how far down it needs to go below the lip, and then I'll try to like mimic that all the way back. So anyway, that's sort of where I'm at. Thanks for watching, continuing to do some work while I wait for the panels to come in over the next few days, few weeks. Just gotta keep moving. Alright, so in the final portion of this video, I go ahead and finish the welding of the floorboard. Once I get the floorboard welded, which you see me bend into place, having an additional tab off there to the side so that way I can overlap it. Again, these floor panels won't show throughout, so it's actually much easier to have a little bit of an overlap rather than trying to create like some sort of stitch weld along the whole entire seam. It's much easier to just have a little bit of an overlap and then use some seam sealer here and not have to worry about a precise cut. But after I get this welded in, I go ahead and finish out my to-do list, which is to make new inner sills for the car, which will be in next episode. Thank you for watching.